Hey guys, how's it going? So basically I'm going to be responding to a TED Talk, which I think is personally one of the worst TED Talks that I've seen. And so the name of the talk is Female, Educated and Perpetually Single, and I'll leave it in the description below so you can go watch it and see if my criticisms and thoughts line up, or what your thoughts are. And the talk is by Erica, and she's 31 years old. She has a PhD and she is single. So judging from the title, the fact that it says that she's educated and she keeps talking about how she has this PhD, she seems to think that her level of education is a factor when it comes to dating. And as someone who is a high school dropout myself and has no higher education, while there are a million reasons why guys wouldn't want to date me, my lack of education or intelligence has never come up as a reason. I think guys are actually more interested in whether they find you attractive, both physically and personality wise, than whether you have a degree or what type of degree or do you have a PhD. So this is kind of off topic. She doesn't actually say this in her talk, but I just wanted to take this moment to address the whole guys are just intimidated by successful, intelligent women thing. So yes, I'm sure some guys are. In that case, you shouldn't date those guys and wait for a guy who does appreciate you and isn't intimidated by you. That being said, however, I do think that there is a difference between an intelligent, successful woman who is humble and kind and an intelligent, successful woman who is arrogant and condescending. In my experience, the second type of woman uses this "men are just intimidated by me because I'm intelligent, successful" as an excuse, when in actual fact it is their personality that is causing people to not want to date them. So one final thing on this that I said was, just because you're intelligent, that doesn't automatically make you interesting. Okay, so going back to the actual talk, at the 1:30-minute mark, she reveals the list, the My Future Husband list. And here are my thoughts on that. The list is a list of expectations, and you should never have expectations. Why? Because they only lead to disappointment and unhappiness. Instead, what I would suggest is to have strong standards for the way in which your future partner will treat you, as well as what kind of relationship it will be. Example, if you act and treat people well, giving them respect and kindness, then to be in your life, either people treat you in the same manner or you simply refuse to have them in your life. You should never compromise your standards, as they are integral to your happiness, self-esteem and self-worth. Another example is a guy you like wants to keep dating other women, however you are only dating him. So either he comes up to meet your standards or you two should simply part ways. So some of the qualities on her list are tall, handsome, educated. And even when she shows how now, at this point in her life, she's reduced the list to just a few qualities, the top one is still tall. A question I have is, how come it is offensive for a man to reduce a woman to her weight? Example, I don't want to date women above this weight category, and that's considered offensive. And yet when women reduce men to their height, it is deemed perfectly fine. Logically, either having a preference for someone based on a measurement is either fine or offensive. Surely it can't be both at the same time. So which is it? I don't understand. I'm confused. So digging a bit deeper, and I guess going a little bit off topic, but somewhat here, why do you want to date a tall, educated, handsome man? Is it because in part you want to impress your friends, family, society? Hey look, I got a guy who's a handsome doctor. That must mean I'm a high quality female, right? Is it about the love you have for this individual, or do you love that other people are impressed by them and then in turn you? Why do some women want to date men with prestigious jobs, e.g. doctor, lawyer? And why do some men want to date women who are models? The obvious answer is men with those prestigious jobs usually have power and money, and models are usually young and attractive. But I think there could be another another element of dating those people, that you are trying to impress/compete, be accepted by others or society by dating someone deemed impressive. Do you want to date this person because of who they are or what they are? Now, I'm not trying to say that it's bad to date people for different reasons, but I just think that when it comes to long-term happiness in a relationship, dating someone to impress others might not be the best way to go. As looks do fade, money, jobs can be lost. In the end, all we are left with is just us, who we are as people. And if you don't really love/respect the person under the job title or symmetrical face, then why are you with them? So at the 5 minutes 25 seconds mark, she mentions the constant questions she faces by people in her life asking her why she's single, etc. I do understand where she's coming from. Unfortunately, we put such an emphasis on being coupled up that if you happen to not be, the assumption is there's something wrong with you. However, I still didn't find her thoughts on this to be particularly insightful or helpful. In fact, it more comes across as her just complaining, which is fine. People are allowed to complain, but maybe just not as a TED Talk. My apologies for the location change. I'm back home now, and you can really see my bloody eczema. Looking good, man. So back to the talk. So, around the 7-minute mark, we are given just a bit of a glimpse as to why Erica might be single. She starts by complaining about online dating, and says that men have insulted her looks, which is obviously not okay or very nice. However, a mere 13 seconds later, in a beautiful display of hypocrisy and complete lack of self-awareness, she complains about a 5'4", 300-pound dude hitting on me, which looks aren't everything, and I applaud your confidence, buddy. But really, come on. And that right there is why I think this is one of the worst talks. So she complains about guys insulting her looks, then goes on to immediately insult men's looks, or some men's looks. This is my last point. This talk could have been about why we put such an emphasis on being coupled up, and the ramifications for those of us who do remain single. It could have been about what she learnt from being single, what insights she gained, and ways we can improve ourselves, not just for our potential future partner, but for our own benefit. This talk could have been about a lot of things, but in the end it wasn't. And so, like my dad once said to me, I'm not angry about it, just disappointed.